Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to Anuj Jindal. Welcome to RBI 247 session. Good evening everyone. Good evening Afsana. Good evening Anushka. Good evening Abhishek. Good evening Pragya. Tell me is everything is fine with the audio and the video so that we can start with the session. Okay. Good evening Rachita. Okay, thanks for the confirmation. Thank you. Good evening Raj. Okay, let's begin with our session. So in today's session, we have four news with us. The first one is related to the RBI's direction. This is related to the RBI's direction. We are going to understand what this is all about. What are the directions that are being given by the RBI? Then we have one news. This is quite factual in nature and very easy to understand as well. We are going to understand what is the data and how is it important for the examination. Then we have one news related to PRAVAAH. Again, the RBI has released one circular related to the same. We are going to understand what is the circular, what it says, and bank credit to is expected to grow as per Crisil. Okay, so Crisil has estimated that banks credit is expected to be growing in the upcoming period, and we are going to understand what are the main reasons behind that, and reasons are more important. So we are going to understand that as well. So here we are with the first one. Before we start our this circular, here we are with the notification wherein they have highlighted such circular. So basically, this was a circular that was released. This circular was standardized by the RBI in which they have specified in this policy of statement on development and regulatory policies. They have stated in that we are going to streamline or standardize or we are going to revise these following, we can say, directions. So one of the direction that we are going to cover in our session is this one. Okay, all other directions are also going to be covered in the session also, but we are just very easy on the direction because directions are very complicated, right? These master direction are very lengthy and second is very technical in nature. So we are going to take them one by one in our session so that it is easy to digest and remember as well for you as well. Okay, so this was for your understanding that. Okay. Here we are with the first one. It says that RBI released one of the circular wherein securitization of the stressed assets are being directed by the RBI. This is the latest direction that has been released by the RBI of 2025. It says that it is a draft guidelines. So these are draft guidelines for converting the NPA into the marketable securities. हमने पीछे जो regulations करी थी, it was about that you are selling your bad loans to the asset reconstruction companies. Okay, वो था कि हमने उनको सेल कर दिया, एसेट रिकंस्ट्रक्शन कंपनीज को अपने बैड लोन सेल कर दिए, किसी भी बैंक ने सेल कर दिए, उसके बदले में वो उन्हें क्या देते थे, सिक्योरिटी रिसीट्स देते थे. ठीक है, बट इस केस में क्या हो रहा है, दैट दे आर कन्वर्टिंग देयर एनपीएस, दैट इज बैड लोन्स, दे आर कन्वर्टिंग देयर बैड लोन्स into a security, and how they are going to do it, they are going to transfer these bad loans by bundling them. So they are bundling these bad loans and giving them to a special purpose entity. This is an entity who is going to help this bank to convert their bad loans into a securities. Now these securities will be sold to whom? These are going to be sold to investors. These investors can be anyone. It can be a bank, it can be a NBFC, it can be an insurance company, it can be a pension company, it can be a mutual fund company, or it can be a high net worth individual, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is the whole process of converting a bad loan into a security. This is how things are happening. So there is a particular, we can say, eligibility criteria, that who is going to be such entity who is going to transfer such bad loans into a securities. Okay, now this specialized purpose entity also hires one person, one individual, or we can say they hire one individual who take care of the recovery of these assets. In this case it is loan. ठीक है, तो इनकी जो रिकवरी ये जो बंदा करेगा इसको नाम दिया हुआ है REM, दैट इज रियलाइज्ड मैनेजर, रियलाइजेशन मैनेजर. ठीक है, नाउ दिस पर्सन laid down the strategies to recover such bad loans. So there is a particular, we can say, eligibility criteria for this person as well. Okay, so I hope the whole, we can say, picture is clear to you, that what we are going to study, what is this securitized, we can say, securitization of the stressed assets. ठीक है, यहाँ तक सब clear है. ठीक है, now these are the draft guidelines. These are being issued under which sections? Section 21, 35, 56 of the banking regulation, chapter 3b of the RBI Act 1934, and then section 30, 32, 33 of the NHB, that is National Housing Bank Act 1987. यहां तक सब क्लियर है? आगे चलते हैं. Now to whom these regulation applies? Now scheduled commercial banks are the one on which these regulation apply. Then all India financial institutions, NABFID हो गया, NABARD हो गया, EXIM हो गया, NHB हो गया, these all are AIFIs. Then we have small finance bank as well, and all NBFC including the housing finance companies are also going to be we can say the entities on which these regulation applies or are applicable to. Now these definitions are very important for you to understand what we are going to read in the upcoming slides. ठीक है, तो एक अच्छा conceptual understanding होना आप सबके लिए बहुत जरूरी है यहाँ पर. So that is the reason I have put definitions as well. So NPA we all know, हमें वैसे तो पता ही है, these are bad loans. So basically technically देखा जाए तो these are the loans which are due, which are overdue for more than how many days? 90 days. Then we have originated cutoff date. Now they are saying this date, this is a type of date from which the bank officially transferred their bad loans to the SPE, that is special purpose entity. ठीक है, तो वो agreement के हिसाब से the date would be named as original cutoff date. Outstanding balance. Now the total amount due. Now the total they are saying total amount which is due on the stressed loans, including principal and the interest, is the outstanding balance in this case. If we are talking about the pool of stressed asset, as I told you that whenever a bank sell their bad loans to the SPE, the loans are being bundled together. So basically they create a pool of bad loans. They create a pool of stressed assets. Now how they are going to make the pool of that stressed asset? A group of troubled loans. Not a single loan is being dominated in the portfolio. कोई ऐसा लोन नहीं होना चाहिए जो ज्यादा dominate हो रहा होगा उस pool में. So each and every we can say the loan should be of 0.30 or less का होना चाहिए. So they are saying that how we are going to measure the weightage of each loan कैसे होनी चाहिए? 0.30 से कम होनी चाहिए. And they have also specified how you can calculate that. So they are saying that this is measured by checking the sum of squares of each loan's shares in the total pool. एक example ले लेते हैं. मान लीजिए there is loan A, there is loan B, there is loan C and D. A का है 20% शेयर, इसका है 10% शेयर, इसका है 5% शेयर, इसका है 10% शेयर. कितना हो गया? इसको 15 कर देते हैं. एंड E ठीक है. So how you are going to calculate? This is going to be 0.2 and you are going to make a square of it. Square करेंगे तो कितना होगा? 0.4 and इसी तरह से 0.1, so this is going to be 0.01 and so on so forth. इसका भी हम क्या कर देंगे? स्क्वायर कर देंगे. फिर इनका सबका जो टोटल आना चाहिए, इट शुड बी लेस देन 0.30. This is how they have told you to calculate the weightage of each and every लोन. तो बेसिकली इन सबका कोई एक कंसंट्रेशन नहीं होना चाहिए लोन का. जैसे इस केस में 30 से ज्यादा आएगा क्योंकि यहाँ पर कंसंट्रेशन जो है लोन्स का वो ज्यादा है. ठीक है, कैलकुलेशन को इग्नोर कर दीजिए, इट इज जस्ट फॉर योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग. ठीक है, सो आई होप यू हैव अंडरस्टैंड द फैक्ट. Here we are with the resolution manager. ठीक है, मैंने पीछे क्या बोल दिया था? realization manager. This is not the right word, it is resolution manager. ठीक है, resolution manager. Now this is that person who is going to strategize how we are going to recover the loans. And it says that it is an eligible person or a firm. It can be a firm or a person who is appointed by the SPE to handle the recovery. Now what will it do? It will make the recovery easier, manage the loans, track the data and draw the recovery strategies for the same. So I hope it is clear. I have already told you. So securitization is, this refers to pooling and selling of the stressed assets. At least 90% of the asset, or we can say the value, is made up of non-performing asset. आपने एक pool create किया loans का, and from which 90% should be a NPA, should be a loan which is related to NPA. ठीक है, यहाँ तक clear है? Here we are with the general guidelines. Now these are very general in nature. We are going to understand what are these. Now loans cannot be, which cannot be securitized. So the loans which are already being securitized, you cannot securitize them again. So this is not a part of a securitization. Loans given to other lenders. If a bank is giving loan to another bank, in that case it will not count towards, that kind of loan will not count towards the securitization. Loan refinanced by the NABARD or SEBI, etc. Now these kind of organizations are kind of AIFI, which is again what? A kind of lender again. So that is the reason such loans are not going to be securitized by the banks. Farm credit loans, education loans, accounts marked as fraud and flagged, these are not also being included as a securitization because these are not bad loans. These are fraud or flagged as risky loans. So they are not being a part of this securitization process. Accounts marked as under investigation or willful default. So there is an ongoing case on that particular loan. So that is the reason we are not going to include such loans in the securitization process. Now they are saying that whenever you are creating a pool of loans, there are, we can say, different kind of loans that are there in the pool. So you are not going to mix different kind of loans all together. So there is a particular group that has been created by the RBI here. They are saying the first group is related to the loans to individual or business loans to individual or loans given to micro enterprises. So basically these kind of loans are going to be a part of group 1 and all other remaining loans are going to be a part of group 2. So you cannot, they are saying that whenever you are creating a pool, you cannot create a mix of it. You cannot create a mix of it. Group 1 type of loan should be created a different pool and there should be a different pool for group 2 type of loans. Then there is a minimum risk retention. They are saying whenever a bank sell its loan to SPE, they can retain some of the risk in it. Okay, that means they are also going to have, say, some stake in that, say 5% or 10% stake in such loans. So they are saying there is no such particular limit. There is no such particular limit that has been set by the RBI to banks कि उनको इतना इन्वेस्ट करना ही करना है वेन एवर दे आर सेलिंग देयर बैड लोन्स टू द एसपीई. देयर इज नो पर्टिकुलर लिमिट कि उन्हें करना ही करना है इन्वेस्ट, या फिर उनको इतना रिस्क रिटेंशन लेना ही लेना है वेन एवर दे आर ट्रांसफरिंग देयर बैड लोन्स इनटू अ सिक्योरिटाइज. बट दे हैव सेट वन लिमिट, सम मैक्सिमम लिमिट. यहाँ पर उन्होंने मैक्सिमम लिमिट लगाई हुई है 20%, कि 20% से ज्यादा आप रिटेंशन नहीं रख सकते. यू वांट टू, देखिए बैंक जो है बैड लोन्स दे रहा है एसपीई को. क्यों दे रहा है? पहली चीज, पहला बेनिफिट, टू रेज द फंड. ये हो गया पहला बेनिफिट. दूसरा बेनिफिट क्या हो गया? दे वांट टू क्लीन देयर बैलेंस शीट. ठीक है, वो अपने बैलेंस शीट को इंप्रूव करना चाहते हैं. दे हैव टू क्लीन अप देयर बुक्स, and that is the reason, that is the main, we can say two main agenda whenever a bank is transferring their bad loans into a security. ठीक है, तो इसलिए आरबीआई कह रहे हैं कि आप ऐसा ना कीजिए कि आप ज्यादा से ज्यादा रिटेंशन रख रहे हैं, रिस्क रिटेंशन कर रहे हैं. तो हमारा जो होल एंड सोर पर्पस है कि हम फंड रेज करें, हम अपनी बैलेंस शीट को क्लीन करें, वो तो रह ही गया, बिकॉज यू आर नॉट लीविंग दोज बैड लोन्स फ्रॉम योर बैलेंस शीट. एंड दैट इज द रीजन दे आर सेइंग कि आप मैक्सिमम कितना ले सकते हैं? सिर्फ 20% तक का रिस्क रिटेन कर सकते हैं इन दोज बैड लोन्स वेन एवर यू आर सेलिंग योर बैड लोन्स टू एसपीई. ठीक है, अब आगे देखते हैं, इसके आगे और भी कंडीशन लगा दी है. दे आर सेइंग व्हेन अ बैंक्स रिस्क रिटेंशन रेंजेस फ्रॉम 10 to 20%, वो कह रहे 10 to 20% रेंज करता है. इन दैट केस बैंक इज गोइंग टू बी द वन हु इज गोइंग टू बियर द लॉस फर्स्ट. ठीक है, अगर कोई भी लॉस आता है और क्योंकि वो ज्यादा से ज्यादा उसमें रिस्क रिटेन कर रहे हैं, तो उनकी ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है टू बियर द लॉस फर्स्ट. दे आर गोइंग टू बियर ऑल द लॉसेस दैट आर गोइंग टू हैपन फर्स्ट. ये इन्होंने यहां पर लिमिट लगा दिया. Now they have one more condition as well. They are saying this 20% limit will not be considered breach if the holding increases only because the rest of the securities loans are being paid off. ठीक है, इस भी चीज को समझते हैं, ज्यादा टेक्निकल नहीं है, समझेंगे क्या है ये. They are saying कि बैड लोन्स कितने थे? 100 करोड़, और बैंक ने कितना रिटेन किया अपना रिस्क, आरआर एमआरआर कितना था बैंक का? इट वाज 20% लिया था, तो 20 करोड़ ले लिया. मान लीजिए 100 करोड़ में से सिर्फ कितना कितना रिकवर हुआ? 60 करोड़. ठीक है, मान लीजिए 100 करोड़ में से कितना रिकवर हुआ? 60 करोड़. अब कितना बच गया? 40 करोड़. तो 40 करोड़ के हिसाब से देखा जाए तो बैंक का एमआरआर कितना है? 20 करोड़. तो ये तो 50% का शेयर हो गया, है ना. तो यानी कि यहां पर लिमिट ब्रीच हो चुकी है. तो आरबीआई सेज नो, if the loans value is being reduced because it has been simply recovered or it is being amortized, यानी कि उसे depreciate कर दिया गया है उसकी वैल्यू को, तो उस केस में we can say कि अगर उसकी वैल्यू ब्रीच हो जाती है, इंक्रीज हो जाता है बैंक का शेयर, तो हम उस केस में उसको एज अ ब्रीच ऑफ रूल नहीं कहेंगे. ठीक है, सिंपल है ये. Then there is fifth condition. It says condition with specialized purpose entity. अब who can be a specialized purpose entity and who cannot be? So they are saying that the investors buying securitized loans cannot be related to the borrower or people who are not allowed to take over distressed company. तो यहाँ पर कह रहे हैं एक तो borrower से related नहीं होना चाहिए. यहाँ पर borrower कौन है? वो कंपनी है, वो बिजनेस है जिसने बैंक से लोन लिया है. तो उस केस में एसपीई उससे रिलेटेड नहीं होना चाहिए, उस बिजनेस कंपनी से रिलेटेड नहीं होना चाहिए जिसको बैंक ने लोन दिया है. अगेन, और दूसरा क्या है? और पीपल हु आर नॉट अलाउड टू टेक द डिस्ट्रेस कंपनी. अब आईबीसी ने एक ऐसी कंपनी को मना किया हुआ है टू नॉट टू टेक पार्ट इन डिस्ट्रेस्ड एसेट्स और सिक्योरिटाइजेशन. तो वो ही कंपनी को आप हायर कर रहे हैं फॉर द एसपीवी, तो उस केस में यू कैन नॉट डू दैट. अकाउंटिंग कैसी होगी? व्हेन अ बैंक और एनबीएफसी सेल द स्ट्रेस्ड लोन्स टू एसपीवी, इट मस्ट सेल इट ऑन द कैश बेसिस. तो कैश बेसिस पर ही होगी. मान लीजिए बैंक ने सेल किए अपने बैड लोन्स टू एसपीई, तो एसपीई इज गोइंग टू पे द कैश ओनली. देयर इज नो अदर मेथड और वी कैन से नो अदर सेटलमेंट दैट कैन बी डन इन दिस केस. प्राइस डिस्कवरी कैसे होगी? पहले तो एक फेयर और क्लीन मेथड निकालेंगे जिससे क्या होगा? लोन की वैल्यूएशन क्रिएट की जाएगी. नेक्स्ट, टू एक्सटर्नल वैल्यूएशन रिपोर्ट्स क्रिएट की जाएंगी। अब यहाँ पर क्या बोल दिया, 2 एक्सटर्नल वैल्यूएशन रिपोर्ट दैट विल बी डन बाय द 2 एक्सटर्नल इंडिपेंडेंट पीपल. So 2 persons would be there who is going to independently value such bad loans and will determine and ascertain the value of those bad loans. ठीक है, उसके लिए वो जो रिपोर्ट देंगे that is going to be the, we can say, source of understanding and we can say getting into the value of determining the value of those bad loans. आगे देखते हैं. Now there are some provision or facilities supporting सिक्योरिटाइजेशन स्ट्रक्चर. अब मुझे बात बताइए, बैड लोन्स को क्रिएट करवा, बैड लोन्स की क्या करवाया जा रहा है, सिक्योरिटाइजेशन करवाई जा रही है, यानी कि उन्हें डेरिवेटिव्स में कन्वर्ट करवाया जा रहा है. Tell me, why would one person want to buy such securities that are already being related to the bad loans? That means investor do not want to invest in that kind of securities. So यहाँ पर कुछ हमें encouragement लानी पड़ेगी among the investor to help them invest in such securities. तो इस केसेस में क्या होता है, इस केसेस में पार्टीज, एक और पार्टी ऐड हो जाती है इस प्रोसेस में, विच इज फैसिलिटी प्रोवाइडर. अब ये जो फैसिलिटी प्रोवाइडर होता है, ये कुछ ऐसी गारंटीज देता है, कुछ ऐसे फैसिलिटीज देता है इन दिस प्रोसेस जो कि हेल्प करते हैं इन्वेस्टर्स को टू बूस्ट देयर कॉन्फिडेंस. मान लीजिए ये जो फैसिलिटी प्रोवाइडर है, ये एक बैंक है, ये एक दूसरा बैंक है. दे आर सेइंग दैट इन केस there is some unsold securities, we are going to buy such securities. या फिर क्या कहते हैं, in case there are some loans that are not being recovered, we are going to give you the guarantee, the credit enhancement guarantee for the same. ठीक है, they are saying कि हम रिकवर कर देंगे उस लोन को, we are going to provide you guarantee for them in case there is a default. ठीक है, तो ये सब जो फैसिलिटीज जो बैंक प्रोवाइड करता है, दे बूस्ट कॉन्फिडेंस अमंग द इन्वेस्टर्स. ठीक है, तो फैसिलिटी प्रोवाइडर्स कैन ऑफर एक्स्ट्रा सपोर्ट टू द सिक्योरिटाइजेशन डील. ठीक है, फर्स्ट थिंग समझ में आ गई, इट कैन बी क्रेडिट एनहेंसमेंट, इट कैन बी अंडरराइटिंग, इट कैन बी सर्विसिंग, इट कैन बी लिक्विडिटी सपोर्ट. If the lender give extra support in this deal, it should only cover the senior tranche of the deal. अब यहाँ पर चीज समझेंगे, they are saying कि senior tranche में ही डील करना है इस तरह के बैंक को जो क्या प्रोवाइड करवा रहा है, फैसिलिटीज प्रोवाइड कर रहा है. अब यहाँ पर सीनियर ट्रांच क्या है, जो कम रिस्की कह सकते हैं लोन्स हैं, उन्हीं में इन्वेस्ट करेगा, रिस्कीएस्ट लोन्स में इन्वेस्ट नहीं करेगा. हम कह सकते हैं पूरे बैड लोन्स के पूल में से दीज आर द सेफेस्ट लोन, इसलिए इन्हें कहा जा रहा है सीनियर ट्रांच लोन्स. ठीक है, सीनियर ट्रांच. प्रोविजन ऑफ फैसिलिटी सपोर्टिंग, सेम चीज के बारे में ही बात कर रहे हैं. नाउ दे आर सेइंग द एलिजिबिलिटी फॉर द REM. नाउ देयर आर टू type of loan categories. The one is which is very complex and the second one which is having a better quality. तो जो first वाली है उसमें REM has to be a regulated entity which is being regulated by the RBI. It can be NBFC, it can be scheduled commercial bank except RRB, that is regional rural bank. It can also include housing finance company and ARCs, that is asset reconstruction companies can also take a part in this. Even the originator can act as a REM. कह रहे हैं जो originator है, अब यहाँ पर originator कौन है, the bank who is selling their bad loans. जिनके bad loans हैं वो कह रहे हैं वो खुद भी क्या बन सकते हैं, REM बन सकते हैं. REM बन सकते हैं. क्या उसमें कंडीशन है, कंडीशन है दे मस्ट हैव एटलीस्ट 5% का स्टेक इन दैट, एटलीस्ट 5% ऑफ द सिक्योरिटीज इशूड फ्रॉम द डील शुड बी होल्ड बाय द बैंक. ठीक है, तो ये यहां पर एक कंडीशन लगा दी है, टू हैव अ स्किन इन द गेम. ठीक है, क्योंकि फिर अगर उनके खुद का भी स्टेक लगा होगा उस बैड लोन्स में तो वहां पर स्किन इन द गेम का रूल लग जाएगा. दैट मीन्स दे विल इंश्योर दैट वट एवर स्ट्रैटेजीज दे आर अप्लाइंग आर गुड फॉर देम एज वेल एंड गुड फॉर अदर इन्वेस्टर्स एज वेल. एंड फॉर द स्लाइटली बेटर क्वालिटी लोन्स it can be entity regulated by any financial regulator, not just the RBI. It can be an insolvency professional or insolvency professional entity in this case. There are some rules related to REM, so it should not be disqualified under the IBC Act and then शुड नॉट बी रिलेटेड टू द बैंक, ओरिजिनेटर से रिलेटेड नहीं होने चाहिए, देन मस्ट वर्क अंडर आर्म्स लेंथ बेसिस, यानी कि अगर दो एक इंडिविजुअल है, आरईएम है और बैंक्स हैं, दोनों को ऐसे डील करना है एज इफ दे आर टू डिफरेंट or two separate entities, they are not related to each other. So basically they have to ensure that there is no special treatment that has been given to the bank and given to the REM in such cases. Cannot be forced to recover losses unless it's their fault. ठीक है, you cannot force to recover the losses unless it is their fault. अब देखिए आपने SPE को क्या किया है, या फिर REM यहां पर जो है, they are going to strategize the recovery. मान लीजिए there is a lot of losses that are going on in such bad loans, तो you are forcing them to recover the losses. Now it is not in their hand. मान लीजिए अगर individuals जो हैं, businesses हैं, जिनके पास वो actual में लोन जिन्होंने लिया है वो रिकवरी नहीं दे रहे हैं, वो लोन्स वापस नहीं दे रहे हैं, what will this person do? They can't do anything. So basically it's not in their hand. They can just introduce some kind of strategies to encourage them to pay back the loan. Okay, so they cannot force this person or this entity to recover the losses. Must handle the cash responsibly. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर जो कैश ट्रांसफर किया जाएगा, हाउ दे आर गोइंग टू हैंडल दैट. ठीक है, द मस्ट पास बोरोवर्स पेमेंट टू SPE. ठीक है, REM जितने भी लोन्स रिकवर करेगा, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी, दैट कैश इज गोइंग टू बी पेड टू SPE. Must keep borrower's money in the separate escrow account. So there will be separate escrow account in which such cash will be put by the REM. Can borrow funds from other lenders to manage the operational cost like admin and legal work. तो basically admin और legal work करने के लिए they can take loan from the bank up to 75% of what is needed. मान लीजिए 100 करोड़ चाहिए उन्हें रिकवरी करने के लिए, they can take 75 crore rupees from the bank. Lenders can give extra working capital or other support to help borrowers if needed. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर उनको सपोर्ट भी दी जा रही है borrowers को to help them recover the loan. Now the valuation of the securities should be valued, should not be based on the market value and but should be done on linear amortization basis. मान लीजिए 100 करोड़ का लोन था, अब बैंक्स इसे कैसे डील करेगी इन देयर बैलेंस शीट, दे आर गोइंग टू अमोर्टाइज इट ऑन अ लीनियर बेसिस, यानी कि इक्वल अमाउंट्स में दे आर गोइंग टू डिडक्ट सम अमाउंट. मान लीजिए ईयर 1 में दे आर गोइंग टू डिडक्ट इट बाय 20 करोड़ and so forth. Fifth year तक they have reduced to 20 crore. Now it has reached how much? Zero amount. But they are not going to record it as zero. They are going to record it as ₹1, क्योंकि रिकवरी अभी हुई नहीं है. They are being deleted from the balance sheet. But we can expect some recovery as well. अब इनकी वैल्यू भी मिनिमल है, but we can expect some recovery as well. तो इसलिए इन्हें ₹1 में रिकॉर्ड किया जाएगा ये सब लोन्स को. Now this means that total value of the notes will be reduced equally. देखिए equally we are going to reduce it every year till maximum of 5 years. ठीक है, इससे ज्यादा का नहीं हो सकता. Now the capital requirement for the securitization. अब देखिए जो बैंक्स हैं अब ये जो सिक्योरिटीज खरीद रहे हैं, जो इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं इन सिक्योरिटीज में, so these are risky securities, है कि नहीं रिस्की, and for these bank they have to have a respective risk weight with regards to these securities. अब ये बैंक्स ने जितना भी इन्वेस्ट करा है ये सिक्योरिटीज में, they are going to have a provision for the same. तो उसके लिए they have provided this table here. ठीक है, so the capital required for the securitization notes held by the lenders. अब यहाँ पर lenders कौन है? बैंक्स की बात कर रहे हैं, दूसरे बैंक्स की बात कर रहे हैं. will depend upon the risk rating given by the credit rating agency. ठीक है, टेबल पर आते हैं. इट टॉक्स अबाउट रिकवरी रेटिंग एंड रिकवरी रेंज. अब रिकवरी रेंज जितनी अच्छी होगी, रिकवरी रेटिंग जितनी अच्छी होगी, उसका मतलब है बैड लोन्स उतने अच्छी जल्दी से रिकवर होंगे और मतलब कि उतना ही रिस्क कम होगा. एंड दैट इज द रीजन उसकी रेटिंग भी अच्छी है. एंड यू हैव टू क्रिएट लेस एंड लेस, वी कैन से रिस्क वेट और वी कैन से प्रोविजन फॉर द सेम. अब यहाँ पर दो तरह के रिस्क वेट की बात की जा रही है. One is related to the senior tranche and one is related to the non-senior tranche. Senior tranche हमने देखा था which is less riskier और non-senior tranche यानी कि they are the riskier one. इसीलिए यहाँ पर you can see that कि risk weight यहाँ पर ज़्यादा है. So there is a particular we can say respective we can say ratings and their respective range, their respective ratings that are being given by the CRA and their risk weight and so on and so forth. एक एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं. RR1 रिकवरी रेटिंग है इनकी और रेंज क्या है रिकवरी की, दैट 100 to 150% तक की रिकवरी है. And the rating that are being given by the CRA on these kind of loans is BBB. And for the senior tranche it is 105% and for the non-senior tranche it is 310%. ठीक है, तो इसी तरह से you have to respectively we can say read the table as well. ठीक है, I hope it is clear to you. Now there is some provisions related to the reporting as well. तो पहले तो आपको रिपोर्टिंग करनी है. नाउ द ओरिजिनेटर दैट इज जिसके बैड लोन्स थे, जिस बैंक के बैड लोन्स थे, दे हैव टू रिपोर्ट टू द आरबीआई on a quarterly basis. Then we have SPE. In case originator nahi, SPE is the one who is going to report to the RBI for the same. Or they have to specify the same regarding the agreement. ठीक है, agreement में अगर उन्होंने sign किया हुआ है regarding the same कि कौन करेगा reporting, तो वो भी उन्हें mention करना पड़ेगा. Then investor access. Investor are allowed to know information related to the asset performance, cash flow, collateral and the stress test data. अब यहाँ पर इन्वेस्टर्स कौन है, हाई नेटवर्थ इंडिविजुअल्स, बैंक्स हैं, एनबीएफसीज हैं, इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज हैं. दे आर बीइंग अलाउड टू यूज सच इंफॉर्मेशन व्हेनेवर दे आर making such investment or even after making an investment they can access such information. ठीक है, तो ये बहुत ही टेक्निकल थी गाइडलाइंस बट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड देम. और कुछ ऐसे की फैक्ट्स हैं जो आपको याद रखने हैं. ठीक है, आप कोशिश कीजिए कि आप ज्यादा से ज्यादा फैक्ट्स इसमें से निकाल पाएं और ज्यादा से ज्यादा फैक्ट्स आप इसमें से याद कर पाएं. ठीक है, here we are with the second news which is UPI transaction value rose by 30% to 261 trillion in the financial year 25. तो पहले तो yearly data डिस्कस कर लेते हैं. That it says the value, if I talk about the value of the UPI transaction, it has increased up to 30%, which has reached 260.56 trillion, which is more than the financial year 24 value of UPI transaction, which is 199.96 trillion. ठीक है, अब ये जो numbers हैं, these are very important in terms of value as well and in terms of volume as well. Okay, we have talked about it, that what do we mean by the volume and what do we mean by the value as well. I'm not going to explain it now, but what is important is you have to understand both. You have to understand both and you have to remember their respective numbers as well. So if I talk about the volume of the UPI transaction, the volume, the number of transaction that have been happened, it has increased 42% to 185.85 billion, which is an increase from 131.14 billion, which is in financial year 24. Now what are the reasons? They are saying that because of the financial year ending. अब फाइनेंशियल ईयर जैसे ही एंड होता है देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ ट्रांजैक्शन दैट यूज टू हैपन, सच एज टैक्सेस पे करते हैं लोग या फिर अपनी जो बहुत सारी ट्रांजैक्शंस होती हैं जो फाइनेंशियल ईयर एंड में ही की जाती हैं. एंड दैट इज द रीजन वी कैन से द मेन रीजन व्हाई वी हैव विटनेस्ड अ लॉट ऑफ ट्रांजैक्शन इन द फाइनेंशियल ईयर एंड में. एंड वी कैन से दिस इज वन ऑफ द रीजंस. And the second one is boosted by greater adoption of the digital payments. Now this is going to be a reason because adoption of digital transaction and payments have been increased by the rural people as well and by the urban people as well. And this reflects the financial inclusion and indicates that users are more confident about the UPI and the digital platforms. So this is easy for you to understand. Now we are going to understand the March data. It says in the March, the UPI recorded the all-time high transaction, which is 19.78 billion transaction, which is worth of how much? 24.77 billion. This is highest since it was launched. ठीक है, तो ये बहुत important data, you have to remember it. And in terms of volume, it has increased 14% from the February 2025. In terms of value, it has increased 13% from the month February 2025. Again, The reason is same, that financial year end spending is the one reason behind such surge in the UPI transactions. Here we are with the third news. It says RBI has mandated all the regulated entities to use PRAVAAH. ठीक है, परवाह देख लेते हैं. परवाह क्या होता है? परवाह इज अ प्लेटफॉर्म फॉर रेगुलेटरी एप्लीकेशन एंड वैलिडेशन ऑथराइजेशन. अब इसका जो हम कह सकते हैं एक्रोनिम है, यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड यू हैव टू रिमेंबर इट एज वेल. अब ये पूछा जा सकता है आपसे एग्जामिनेशन में. ठीक है, इसका एक्रोनिम पूछा जा सकता है, जो कि एक वी कैन से वी हैव सीन अ पैटर्न कि ये बहुत पूछा जाता है. And it was launched in May 2024. So basically it is a secure centralized web based portal. और ये क्यों इंट्रोड्यूस करवाया गया था? So that regulated entities, whenever they need some kind of approval, some kind of licenses that has to be approved by the RBI, they have to send it through the paperwork. Okay, now but this has been digitalized by the RBI through this portal of PRAVAAH. They are saying that you can digitally apply and you can simply send your application regarding the license, regarding some any kind of approval in that platform, and RBI will send you the time bound decision on the same. So basically this is a portal wherein the regulated entities can also check the status of their application, whether it has been accepted by the RBI or whether it has been rejected by the RBI. ठीक है, so this is very easy. Individuals and entities will be able to track and monitor the status of their application. More than 70 different application forms are there which is related to the different departments of the RBI. ठीक है, तो आरबीआई के अंदर ही बहुत सारे डिपार्टमेंट्स काम करते हैं और वो डिफरेंट रेगुलेशन, डिफरेंट अप्रूवल्स और लाइसेंसिंग के साथ डील करते हैं. एंड दैट इज द रीजन अब वो डिपार्टमेंट और वो जितने भी application forms hai, they are being 70, and from which the regulated entities can send their application through those forms that are being digitally there in the PRAVAAH portal. And they talk about the performance of the same. They are saying more than 3,000 applications are being requested by the regulated entities and submitted through the platform. They are saying 108 specific forms are available which are being added, that will be added as and when needed by the RBI. ठीक है, so this is a part of improvement that is going on with the PRAVAAH. So they are saying that it is going to start from May 1, 2025. They are going to mandate the use of PRAVAAH for the regulatory application from May 1, 2025. Now this is very important. This date is very important. If a member of a public cannot use PRAVAAH, they can send or submit their application to the RBI in the person or in post. Even then, the RBI is going to process it through the PRAVAAH. It's going to process it through the PRAVAAH. यानी कि जो process होगी वो digitalize ही होगी in order to reduce the paperwork for the RBI. Now, RBI is a very complex organization and is a very big organization. Initiative like such improves the efficiency of the organization. In this case, RBI. अगर आपको याद होगा पिछले साल in this year, in the early we can say starting of this year, the RBI received what award? Digital Transformation Award for the same, for the PRAVAAH and for the Sarthi, wherein they said that it has been given by the Central Banking, a London based publication, who honored the RBI with such award, stating that it has initiated some digital platforms that are being developed in-house by the RBI, which is good for the RBI. Now they are saying that PRAVAAH and Sarthi are two platforms that are interlinked. कैसे? Sarthi is an application that is used by the employees of the RBI, that is not for us and you. So basically, whatever application that are being received by the PRAVAAH, which is again an application used by RBI to give licenses and approval, all such applications are being then transferred to the Sarthi, which is again used by the employees. They are the one who are going to see such who are going to see such application in their Sarthi application, right? So Sarthi is the RBI's internal workforce flows which was introduced in the January 2023, which helps the employees to store and share the documents securely within the RBI. Now which improves the record management as well and increases the option for data analysis through the reports and the dashboard as well. So this is again a very important, we can say, background of the news which has to be known by you. So here we are with the fourth news, which says that bank credit grow 12 to 13% in financial year 26. Now this has been stated by the Crisil. It says that it is going to be growing, grow at a what rate? At 12 to 13% growth rate, which is slightly higher than the growth rate that was estimated in financial year 25, that is 11 to 11.5%. अब इसके कुछ reasons इन्होंने highlight करे हैं. They are saying that RBI is the one who is supporting some initiatives in terms of relaxed regulations. तो RBI ने अभी हमने कुछ regulations पढ़ी होंगी पिछले sessions में. They have relaxed some of the, we can say, regulations. अगर हम पिछले ही सेशन की बात करें, LCR की हमने बात करी थी, wherein LCR, the runoff factor was reduced to 100 to 42%. ठीक है, तो अब इससे क्या होगा? A lot of capital will be freed up by the banks, with the banks, and which improves their credit flow as well, which can be used, that money can be used for any other purposes by the banks. So we can say this is one, we can say, reason for such improvement in the credit growth. Second is expected tax cuts. Now tax cuts have been done by the, we can say, tax department, and that also saves a lot of money with the individuals, with the businesses. Softening of the interest rate. We all know that interest rates have been reduced by 0.25% by the RBI in the recent MPC. So the other estimation and suggestion that has been given by the Crisil is that the deposit growth for the financial year 25 is 10.3%. We need to monitor them in order to increase their growth, because we can still see some credit gap in between that. Credit to deposit gap is still there, right? Now there are two RBI decisions that is supporting the credit flow. The first is they have reduced the risk weight. In April 2025, November 2023 में उन्होंने risk weight increase कर दिए थे for the credit that has been given to for the personal loans to the NBFCs. ठीक है, 25% से उनके रिस्क वेट इंक्रीज कर दिए गए थे. बट नाउ विद द अप्रैल 2025 सर्कुलर ऑफ द RBI, they have reduced, and we can say they have normalized the risk weight. That also saves a lot of money for the banks. The second one is the postpone of the new stricter LCR. अगर हम LCR की बात करें, they are supposed to increase the runoff factors for the banks, but they have extended that stricter regulation of LCR for the banks for another 1 year. So they have, instead of increasing the runoff factor, they have reduced this time, which is relaxing for the banks and the regulated entity, which is again good for them to increase their credits in the market, which is again good for the economic growth as well. In financial year 23 and financial year 25, these loans were growing very fast, about 21% per year. But in financial year 25, this growth slowed to sharply 6 years. Now they are talking about what? They are talking about the NBFC. They are saying that a lot of banks give loans to NBFC. The loans that were given to NBFCs, there was a growth of 21% in financial year 23 and financial year 24. In financial year 25, this has been reduced to 6% only. So what we are expecting now? So they are saying we are expecting that with the relaxation given by the RBI, we are expecting a double-digit growth, which is 10%, which is again less than 21%, but is in double-digit growth. The second one is the corporate sector accounts 41% of the total bank credit. Credit growth in this sector is projected to be 9 to 10% financial year 26. हायर देन द 8% ग्रोथ इन फाइनेंशियल ईयर 25। तो ये आपको पढ़कर ही समझ आ गया होगा, जो टोटल लोन्स दिए जाते हैं बाय बैंक्स टू द इकोनॉमी, उसमें से 41% किसका अकाउंट है, कौन शेयर, किसका शेयर है, कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर का। तो उसका जो लोन दे रहे थे, उसका जो लोन है उसका एस्टिमेशन क्या है, 9 to 10% फॉर द फाइनेंशियल ईयर 26, विच वॉज 8% in the previous year, which is financial year 25. So here we are with the question. Recently, RBI introduced a fresh set of rules for the draft guidelines for converting the bad loans NPA into the marketable securities. The draft guidelines specifies certain types of loans that are ineligible for the securitization under the stress asset framework. Which of the following statement are correct according to the RBI draft framework? Loans under investigation for fraud under eligible for fraud are eligible for the securitization. Education loans are excluded from the securitization of stressed assets. Re-securitization of already securitized asset is permitted. Loans to other financial institutions are excluded from the securitization. So what do you think, what is the right answer in this case? Right. A is the right answer in this case, wherein the second statement and the fourth statement is the correct one. Here we are with the question number 2. As per the RBI's April 2025 update, which of the following best describes the primary objective behind mandating the use of PRAVAAH? What is the primary objective? What do you think? What RBI wants to aim here? Right, C is the right answer. They want to digitalize the whole process and want transparency whenever there is some processes going on for the regulatory approvals and licensing. Question number 3. In March 2025, the UPI recorded the total transaction value of dash trillion, an all-time high of dash billion transaction, marking it the highest monthly value and the volume since its launch. Right. Good, everyone. Good. So B is the right answer. Good. What is the projected growth rate of bank credit in financial year 26 according to the Crisil ratings? Right. B is the right answer. Pragya, how it is E is the incorrect one. So B is the right answer. 12 to 13% is being projected by the Crisil. So I hope the class was fruitful for you. अब master directions थोड़ी ज़्यादा आ रही हैं in the RBI's website. We are trying to cover all of them one by one. ठीक है, we are going to ensure that whatever that has been there in the RBI website, we are covering it in our session as well. So what we need to do is we have to revise them on a daily basis. We need to understand them. We need to understand them so that we can remember them easily. ठीक है, जैसे ही आप समझेंगे कुछ चीज को, आपको वो खुद ब खुद ही याद हो जाती है. If we talk about the facts, for facts you have to create your notes जैसे आपको ठीक लगे, or you can just print out the, we can say the PDF that are being provided to you. उसी में आप highlight करके उन्हें mark कर लीजिए so that you can simply go through them. ठीक है, so these are some of the tips that you can use while you are studying. So best of luck for your examination and keep on preparing for the finance current affairs. Okay, so goodbye everyone. Have a good day.